So we've obviously got this wall all finished off. Just finished sanding most of the roof panels and going to stain it. Light oak. So that's the colour it's meant to dry. That's the colour it is. I guess it dries lighter. Had an absolute nightmare with the tongue and groove panelling that I did yesterday. It didn't actually go light oak, it went green. That's the first coat of primer. It's gone on reasonably well, pretty happy with it. So it's only the first coat. Obviously it's all going to seep in at different areas, different speeds and all the rest of it. So I'm going to pop the heater on in here, try and get it nice and warm, help it dry out. Up in the middle, and then whack that on max. So thought I'd do a little bit of an update based on where we're at with the van build. We've sort of had run into a few issues. The first one being the weather. I mean, didn't matter everyone else, but this cold spell was honestly just completely changed the game for us. Parts were freezing, like the paint that I was using, trying to mix up in the garage, but the garage was like sub-zero. But managed to persevere, and we had like 5 heaters going. The good news is we've actually got all of the primer up on all the walls. All the walls are done. I've just done the first coat of top coat today, and the paint is going on pretty well, I think. So now I'm going to be designing the benches. I can't do the upper cabinets yet, which I'm going to actually fit first, because I don't have the roof up, I have the ceiling up, and that's only because I'm painting and I didn't want to get any splashes, because we're spray painting this time. Didn't want to get any splashes of paint up there. So we've got 4 packs of tongue and groove to go up on the roof. So that'll be fun, but I can't do that until the walls are painted. It's a bit of a juggling act. And on that note, I'm just going to build the benches because they're an easy win. I've got a cut list optimizer website that I found that we'll link in the description as well. Maybe it might be some of use to some people, but what it helps you do is visualize how you're going to cut down a big sheet of plywood so you don't waste the material. So I've planned out roughly the sizes of everything we need, and then I'll just run it through the cut list optimizer, and it'll tell me what sheets to cut it out of and in what order. You can set the thickness of your blade, you can set how much excess you want on each side. So I always set mine to 5mm just to account for any slips, or if you run off a little bit you can then flatten out with the planer. One bench cut, front piece here, that's this piece, kind of hard to distinguish, and then 2 end pieces there, and then I've got 1 middle divide as well, support, which I've got 2 cut there, because I've got some for the other bench as well, but I'm just going to do the edges for now. So I'm just going to mark them all up. I'm going to pocket hole on the outside of the outside pieces, and then I can screw it all together. And I've got some right angled clamps somewhere, I have to dig them out, and then yeah, so they'll help hold it all in place. Right angle clamps. I've got these little ones and I've got some big ones as well. But these little ones are awesome. You literally just clamp it together and it will hold it perfectly in line. Which means you don't have to juggle stuff and like fiddle around and try and fit stuff together. You can just clamp it all together and then it just works. So I've just got to drill pocket holes in this piece of wood so that they screw into there, and then that'll be this bench pretty much made. What I've had to do with the walls is sort of park it for a minute. There's a few of the bits that needed filling that I'd sort of missed. So I've gone back over, filled them, and I've just painted in all the grooves earlier. with the paint nice and thick. And then I can go over and spray. And then we should be there on the walls and then ready to fit the ceiling. In the meantime, I've just been working on the bench, which I can obviously then just take out whenever I'm building the rest of it out. It seems unnaturally high, but we're actually having a raised floor at the back to allow for some pull-out drawers and tables and stuff. So basically, the shell of it is 18mm ply, which some people like to build a frame and then put thinner material on top, which is what we did in Willow. But I think on this one, we're going to go with the 18mm ply. So this is the basic frame of the bench that we're going to have on this side of the van. So that frame has gone all the way around, and then I've got two supports in the middle just as dividers. And then what I've done here is got some CLS from Wix, and basically that's pretty much all Wix had was some CLS in stock, because the Wix where we are is having a refit. So I got the CLS and then just planed it down so it is plain square edged essentially. That's going to be screwed into the wall battens. For example, that there is a wall batten here because there's a join of T&G and they got pinned in there. So if I drive a screw into that section just there, I basically know that that will be structurally sound because I put the batten in, the batten screwed to the anchor points on the van. So that will take some of the weight, and then obviously the 18mm ply is sound anyway. Super strong stuff. And now I've cut a strip like that, and this strip will basically go on there right at the back, and then the lid will come out from there, and we'll have a piano hinge on this section so that you can then lift up like that. One thing to bear in mind if you are putting lids on benches is basically you want to be able to prop the cushion up when you open the bench, otherwise you have to move it to like another part of the van, and that's just cumbersome. So if you take the cushion that's like that and then prop it on its edge, if it stands on its edge, which will then rest on this section here, you can then open this section up and that cushion is then sort of trapped behind the open lid. So if that's your mattress, that's on the top of the bed there, and you want to lift up this section here. If this section of wood, this support beam, was thinner than this, every time you try to lift this up, you would compress, and then you'd have to sort of hold this up like that whilst you're getting stuff out, and it's just not really ideal. So the idea being that if this was the mattress, you just grab it, flip it up there, that would go up on gas struts, and you've got full access. Obviously it'll be held up, but you then have full access to whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're trying to get out, or put in, I should say.